DougCo teachers who weren't in school on the day of the big protest braced to have their names made public. Not the first time that conservative leaders in that county have gone looking for the names and sometimes even the addresses of public health workers, teachers, and journalists. We'll look at the penalties for anyone who uses that information to do harm. The governor's running for re-election, so we showed up to ask him about what he's not really talking about.
If public safety and ending crime was easy, somebody would have done it.
A young Coloradan finds a new outlook on life through the Olympics after his life was forever changed by a rare disease.
He just fell in love with it, and it's just been amazing.
There's joy in the smiles of children. Tonight, together, we can help more kids in Colorado get the dental care they need. It affects every aspect of their lives. We're going to do it because this is next, but before. Good part of Douglas County's on edge tonight. Hundreds of teachers have been warned that they're about to be publicly outed as having been absent from school on the day of the massive protest against the district's conservative majority school board. District security, Parker Police are investigating flyers left on teachers' vehicles this morning. Papers telling unions supporting teachers to get out. And within minutes, school board will meet to start a lightning-fast process to pick a new superintendent to replace the one they fired. We are standing by for that meeting, which has been moved to virtual only because of the snow. It's possible that the district leadership addresses the open records request, which they are required by law to fill, which will name every teacher who was absent on the day of the protest, whether they left to protest or not. Board's also going to talk about the hiring process for the new superintendent. Releasing the names of DougCo teachers who were not in school on the protest day continues what's been a trend of conservative leaders in Douglas County seeking the names and sometimes even the addresses of perceived political opponents, like teachers, public health workers, and journalists. Former District Attorney George Brockler called for the teachers' names to be released so that parents can confront them. The head of Parker Republicans posted the names and home addresses of public health workers, saying, quote, "Patriots are going to show you the errors of your ways." County Commissioner Laura Thomas encouraged her supporters to look up the names of public health workers who had made campaign contributions. State Representative Patrick Neville published the home address of a Denver Post reporter in retaliation for a story he didn't like. And FEC United founder Joe Oltman warned reporters not to put their names on critical coverage of his group, saying, quote, "We're coming for you." All of this comes as public health workers inside and outside Douglas County have been receiving threats of violence in recent years. Educators as well. 2 school districts recently moved their board meetings behind extra security after threats. So no wonder Douglas County's teachers are so concerned. Tonight we have learned more about the death threat against the superintendent of Littleton schools recently. Our Steve Steger found out that the case being tried in a city court rather than a state court could actually end in harsher punishment for the man accused of making a threat over vaccinations.
48-year-old Byron Clayton is due in this courthouse on February 23rd, municipal court, after police say he left a threatening voicemail for the superintendent of Littleton Public Schools. According to the police report, Clayton, who was angry about a vaccine clinic the district held for kids, told the superintendent, quote, "I have a syringe full of anthrax to inject into you. You will shake and you will no longer breathe. You will die because you were injected." Clayton, who is described in the report as a very conservative, anti-vax QAnon follower, told investigators he made the call to vent. Police wrote Clayton a municipal ticket for harassment.
People have for many, many years assumed that they can make any threat they want as part of First Amendment free speech. That just isn't so. 9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson says any threat, even those including threats of bodily harm or death, would be considered harassment if they only happen once. There's concurrent jurisdiction for crimes of this nature between state court and municipal court.
We learned something interesting today. That municipal court in Littleton, though it may sound more tame, carries a bigger possible penalty for this crime. If convicted of harassment in municipal court, Clayton could face up to 364 days in jail and fines of up to $2,650. That same conviction in state court is only eligible for up to 6 months in jail and a fine of up to $750.
We live in a society where people are acting out on threats to injure others based on political beliefs and perceptions. And so anyone who becomes a target, they absolutely have the right, and really a duty to their own family, to contact law enforcement immediately.
So that's harassment, making the call once. Robinson says if you're persistent, you keep calling and harassing someone, you could face stalking charges. That's a felony, could come with jail time. And if you're threatening someone in an attempt to try to get them to do something specific, like say change a policy, that would be extortion, a felony that could come with years of prison time. Kyle, we reached out to Clayton today, did not hear anything back.
Sadly, we've talked a lot about the threats that have permeated politics and education and public health lately. And a question that we get a lot from Next viewers is, why isn't such and such a threat actionable by police? Like when somebody recently said the governor should hang for treason. Apparently, that's not something that police can take action on.
Yeah, but in this case, you have someone specifically saying, I'm going to do this to you. That makes it a lot easier for police to act, because then they can go to that person and they can say, do you have anthrax? Do you have a syringe? They can ask those specific questions and try to get to the mindset of somebody making an actual personable threat against someone.
Steve Steger, thank you. So political candidates, they'll use their campaign launches to choose what they want us all to talk about. And then what happens is politics guy Marshall Zellinger shows up and he asks them questions about other important things that they didn't bring up. Democratic Governor Polis' re-election kickoff barely touched on his handling of the pandemic and rising crime. So here comes Marshall.
Were you held kicking and screaming to make crime a priority in this re-election campaign?
No, I mean, public safety is something that I think we should lean into and embrace. And frankly, I think we have good, thoughtful, practical solutions. I mean, one of the problems with the Republican side is they have part of the solution, and they're right. You need to catch criminals, prosecute them, lock them up. Yes, but it's that and, right? Because even if you succeed in catching someone, you lock them up for 2 years. Once they're out, you don't want them to recommit a crime. So it's about, yes, it's about supporting law enforcement. It's about apprehending criminals. It's about convictions, but it's also about youth diversion and intervention programs, how to reduce recidivism within the prison walls, how you deal with mental and behavioral health, including substance abuse, to prevent crime before it occurs.
If you were presented a supervised drug injection site, do you support that?
Again, I haven't looked at that, and I don't think there's a bill to do that. I would say I'm generally skeptical of normalizing drug abuse. I think what you need to do is get people into treatment and recovery so that they can recover their dignity and be able to support themselves and live fulfilling lives.
You've resisted saying you've made a single mistake during the pandemic response, saying that you made the best decision with the information that you had. I think most Coloradans would say they might regret a decision or two over the last 2 years. You really don't regret any?
Well, I regret that we didn't have more information at any given time, Marshall, and that was very frustrating, especially in the early days of the pandemic. Novel virus, and in those early days, shortages of masks, of gloves, even our hospital workers didn't have enough. There were very few treatments or therapies in those early days. Now there's much better therapies, there's highly effective vaccines. I really wish that we knew more early on. I wish we knew more even yesterday, as recently as yesterday. But yeah, I'm confident I can go to bed tonight knowing, yes, with the information we had, we made the best data-driven decisions that we could at every point in time.
I also asked the governor about taking credit for a savings idea that would override a cost he helped put into law. A 2-cent per gallon gas fee gradually increasing to 8 cents a gallon is part of a new law he signed last year. He wants to delay the fee to save you money. He defends it by saying in the long run, people understand they need to pay for roads, but can avoid this fee while gas prices are so high, Kyle.
Maybe we only need to pay for roads in years when he's not up for election. It's just like that would be like every 3. Like we'd pay for 3 years, and then the year that he's running again, then we wouldn't pay. I think I figured it out. Thank you, Marshall.
Hi there, I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin outside in the 9 backyard. Already an inch of snow on the ground and snow covering I-25. It's down there somewhere. Denver under a winter storm warning after highs in the 30s, which now we're watching those numbers in the mid-20s. A heavier snow band's filling in. Winter storm warning for 4 to 8 inches of snow for Denver by sunrise tomorrow. 5 to 10 inches in the foothill areas, Golden, Boulder, down to Lakewood and Littleton, even maybe down to Castle Rock and Castle Pines. Winter weather advisory advisories up a little bit higher and also down south between Monument Hill and Colorado Springs. The snow really turns heavy between now and midnight, then starts to taper off from north to south as we move through the early morning hours. Believe it or not, we're back to sunshine tomorrow. Hard to believe, but we have a lot of snow. This storm is impactful. Again, 4 to 8 inches when you step out tomorrow, and temperatures will be in the mid-teens. Winter storm warning through 5 a.m. tomorrow, clearing mid-morning, even with sunshine, a high of only 37. Look at your Friday, a high of 48, close to 60 for Saturday and Sunday. And yep, that's more snow in the forecast for early next week.
A kid's smile can turn your day around. Proper dental care for a kid can turn their life around. Seriously, kids who don't get the dental care they need, they're more likely to miss school because of pain and embarrassment, and they're more likely to struggle in school when they are there. That's why your Word of Thanks microgiving campaign this week supports KIND, Kids in Need of Dentistry. For more than 100 years, yes, that long, this nonprofit in our community has had the same basic mission: get to kids who need oral care and make sure that they can change the trajectory of their lives. Their mobile dental clinics go to high-need schools and neighborhoods. They meet families where they are with oral care that is patient and understanding, culturally competent, and is affordable, no more than what any family can afford. KIND's dentists go in knowing that some of the kids that they will see have never been to a dentist and may not see one again soon. So they have a big job to stabilize their oral health, to alleviate pain, to just let them smile again and be a kid. So that means they'll be able to be in school and focused on their classwork. KIND estimates that kids across America miss 51 million hours of class each year because their teeth hurt. We can do something about that in Colorado. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491. I'll send you that link to donate. You know well at this point, even $5 helps. And as always, I'll match the first 50 donations of $5 to get us rolling. There are times when kids are in pain and there's nothing we can do about it. In this case, we can and we will. A prosecutor himself is under investigation, accused of yelling at crime victims when he wasn't ignoring them completely. The 2022 Winter Olympics are still weeks away, but we know one Coloradan who's hyped. His life changed. Those games became his goal. We'll meet him next. Heads up, at that Douglas County School Board meeting, the board immediately went into executive session to get legal advice on this issue of releasing the names of all the teachers who were absent on February 3rd, the day of the big protest. State courts have previously held that school districts must release absence information like that. But the fact that yesterday DougCo schools told teachers to prepare for the release today, and now they're going to get more legal advice, suggests the situation may be changing. We'll keep you in the loop. Top prosecutor down San Luis Valley is under investigation for allegedly disrespecting crime victims, mistreating them to the point that it could be a violation of the Victims' Rights Act. The AG's office is investigating if District Attorney Alonzo Payne and his staff really did yell at crime victims, show up late to meet with them, and did not follow up with crime victims as required by law. The state's Crime Victim Services Advisory Board found that his office did likely violate the law several times. So now it's up to the Attorney General's office to take it from here. Next viewer named Shirley wrote to us this afternoon to say that she misses meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen's weather haikus. Shirley, you knew we had one on tap for today.
Corey Reppenhagen is on the weather beat.
Six-branched ice powder, a dendritic wonderland, Colorado gold.
That was Corey Reppenhagen on the weather beat.
A rare virus paralyzed one of his legs. His sports dreams didn't disappear, they just changed.
You get in a sled and you're all equals because you're all at the same level.
We'll get to say that we knew a future Paralympic star when he was just 9 years old. Next. The U.S. women's ice hockey team will compete for the gold medal against Canada tonight. Then the U.S. gets another shot at hockey gold come March in the Paralympic sled hockey competition. Our photojournalist Brian Wendland met a young Coloradan who's hoping to chase that medal one day.
Is the mic still here?
Hockey is the perfect way to release some energy, and 9-year-old Mitchell Wenberg's got a lot of it.
Copy.
His kind of hockey is a little different than what you watch when the Avs play.
It's like hockey for disabilities.
Sled hockey.
Like you're closer to the ice and you could actually pass under your sled that you have. Woo!
Mitchell's been playing for a year. He needs the sled because of a virus that attacked his right leg when he was just 7 months old.
Essentially, we were told that he would have no recovery or movement in his right leg.
Christy Wenberg is Mitchell's mom.
My husband and I love hockey. That's how we met, playing hockey. And so it just kind of is inbred in him, I guess. And we love the fact that he's doing this.
The sport is teaching him what it means to be part of a team. And his dad Alex says the hockey community has wrapped its arms around Mitchell.
It's just some guy we never met before, just started helping him out. So that's why I've always loved the sport.
Just being out there with him, I can see his drive.
He's got that. Yeah.
You know what, you guys should be proud because
totally.
He's an inspiration to everybody.
Mitchell is like a sponge out there, taking in whatever he's taught.
I like to see all the other skills and learn from all the other players. And if they're new players, I can teach them little stuff that I learned.
And he hopes to one day earn a spot on the U.S. Paralympic team.
He's got so much potential to do that.
For Next, I'm Brian Wendland.
Mitchell considers one of the Paralympians on this year's team a mentor. So he'll be cheering on Malik Jones and the rest of Team USA when the Paralympic Games begin on March 4th. Talked about how crucial oral health is for young kids. Impacts everything from their overall physical health to how they do in school. Not every kid in Colorado has access to the care necessary for a healthy smile, and we're working on that tonight. That and your feedback next.
Next, producer Kevin Larson checking in once again. You and I have the same amount of medals at these Winter Olympics that Colorado's Michaela Schifrin does. After a rough start in Beijing, she has a chance at her first medal tonight. More on that on the Olympic Zone. Tom Green at 5:30.
Mother wrote to me recently and told me about a nonprofit that had changed her kids' lives. Kind, Kids in Need of Dentistry. It's a nonprofit that provides affordable dental care for children in Colorado. She wrote to me, as a single mother, I'm so grateful for all that Kind has provided me. They're so professional and knowledgeable on how to make sure that the children who visit them are free from being scared. She said the atmosphere is embracing and everyone is very kind. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 to join me in giving. They are the experts going to communities in need across Colorado to make sure that kids have good oral health, so they'll have good physical health, and so that they can concentrate pain-free in schools. Somebody asked tonight if the name of the person who requested the teachers' names in Douglas County will be public. It is. I've already put in the request. See you next time.